welcome to a new video. So here we are on Databricks. I hope you watched the last video. I hope it wasn't that boring. So today I'm just gonna start with you on Databricks, how everything is located, how the web UI looks like. So basically, as soon as we start, this is what we see. And as we can see, we have here the menu. So we have a workspace. The workspace is basically for managing your own notebooks that you have right here. They are Jupyter notebooks, kind of. You have all the things on top, but pretty much if you have used Jupyter on the past, you may know how this kind of thing structures itself. Somehow we're gonna move forward on the menu. We have the recent page, which basically shows us different parts that we have been accessing in the past. Basically, this is the only notebook that I have. This could be helpful if we have a lot of notebooks, a lot of customers, a lot of clients in here. The next thing is basically a search, so we could have a look at different things. Let me check, like for example, title notebook, boom, here you go. That's part of the workspace. I don't know how, like, why it's taking the original name for the file. Like whenever you click on new, that's basically the name of the file that appears, and not the one that I gave later. But hey, that could be something. But we could have also right here, I can find myself. Like if we search things in here, we're gonna find them quickly. Then we have the data catalog. That's a central part in my opinion, because the Databricks solution is structured around notebooks. It's structured around making the modern data stack. And if we think about what big data is about, it's basically data, compute, or programs, code that you run, and the clusters. So we have compute, code, and data. That's all. And basically, the code is going to be your notebooks, the compute is going to be your clusters, and the data is going to be something that you use, right? To train models, to run inference, whatever. So basically, this is how the data that we have at the moment on Databricks looks like. We have the default, I hope to say it correctly, schema, which have no tables. Well, it says right here databases, but I'm just gonna call them schemas. We'll see why later on. Then we have the New York City taxi, which is pretty much the default, a default database with some data on trips from taxis on New York City. We have here the table. If we click on here, well, I'm going somewhere I've never been before. I just click on refresh whenever it was refreshing itself, and we can have a look at the schema, some rows of this schema of this database, what it contains. We could have also a look at the history, and as you can see, we are hitting on the cluster that is called Dark Cluster, and it has almost 16 gigabytes of RAM, two cores, and this is basically Databricks 12.2 LTS. That's a version of Databricks, that's the version of Spark, and that's a version of Scala. And if we click in here, this is gonna send us to the cluster, well, to the schema, sorry. So this is what we have. This is the schema. These are the different columns. This is the table of the columns. If we add comments, we could see them in here. And basically, this is the pickup date, this is the drop-off date, this is the trip distance, I think on kilometers possibly, or possibly miles. It is on the New York City, I don't know. That's something interesting that we should be able to see on the data catalog. If we don't see it, that's something to ask and improve later on. So we have the Fairmount, like how much it cost, a pickup tip, the drop-off tip, like the tip is kind of the region, if you want to call it this way. As we can see, these are numbers or integers, this is doubles, and this is basically the timestamp or date. Let me check on workflows. Well, as we saw, this is for the production version, not the community version, so we're gonna leave it this way. And then we have the compute. As we can see, we have here Dark Cluster, and this is the creator, that's basically me. and then we have runtime version, gigabytes of memory, and the cores, and how many DBUs we have. It's basically one. That's the compute that we receive. So we could stop it. We could restart, clone, delete. We're gonna do it later on. I'm just gonna show everything in this video, and this is basically for machine learning on experiments. All right. So we don't have any experiments yet, but we possibly will have on the future. This is the settings for my account, delete, logout. That's all. That's simple. That's easy. We can create new notebook, table, cluster, experiment. Easy. We don't need anything else. That's everything you need. That's the need to stop complicating things. That's beautiful. And as a person that wants to make ecosystems, some of you guys call it cathedrals, digital cathedrals, I'm much more of just trying to simplify everything from once and all. So yeah, that's basically it. If we click on the workspace, we could have a look at the notebook, the code and everything else. We're gonna have a look at the next video on this and the things we can do. And this is basically the catalog. We have access to the catalog again. We have access to the Hive meta store, which is basically empty. And this comes by default with the Databricks solution. And then they loaded some sample data, like for example, New York City taxi and the TPCH. This is something that is quite useful for benchmarking, as far as I can tell. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything that we need to know. By now we may have some other buttons in here and there, but we shouldn't worry too much about it. This is pretty much well through what you can find on the Databricks introduction ways. So hope you like it. Click on like, subscribe, click the bell button, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.